What's up, YouTube? On my last video on my dash lights, I messed up and I deleted part of the footage, and it turns out some people would like to know exactly how to do the HVAC lights, so I'm going to redo this video because there's some light I didn't do, the little lights on the bottom, which I really need to get those done. So I'm going to go ahead and get back to it. So I'm not going to go back through this and show you exactly how to take this apart again, because I did that in my last video. So if you need to know how to take this off, just click on my last video, which I'll link it up on the top here, whichever side. It's really simple. All you got to do is take one of these tools. This is the interior tool, and just pop it along the edges and it pops right off. So it's super simple. So if you really need to know, just check out my other video. So let's get to it. Now, I mentioned this in my previous video on my gauge lights. I bought a 20 pack of LEDs off of Amazon. They're number 74 LEDs. I got them for Parts Am. I'll probably put a link down in the description, but I'm a little frustrated with Amazon right now because I got fired from their associates. So, not really, I wasn't really an employee, but I don't have any affiliate links anymore. But anyways, I bought these LEDs for the gauges, and they don't technically work with the HVAC lights, but I've kind of figured out a way to make them work. But I deleted a lot of that footage, so I'm going to actually go through. I didn't replace all the lights yet, so I'm going to go through and replace the smaller lights, and hopefully it works out. Basically, what the first step is, this is how the LED comes. I don't know if it's going to focus or not. But it comes like that, and you gotta take off this blue casing to expose the wires. So I'll show you that real fast. Now, this is where having a 20 pack comes in real handy, because I have broken a couple of these. So it's nice to have a 20 pack, that way you have some spares. Basically, you gotta be very careful. This blue casing is glued to the LED, so you kind of gotta break the glue very carefully. I'm using side cutters, and it's very easily to go all the way through, so you gotta be very careful. So let's go around. Oh, that one came off easily. So I just broke the glue from the casing and it came off. Let's see if I can get another easy one. Only need 3. You need 6 total for the HVAC cluster. So alright, let's see. This is the last LED I have, so it has to work. I've broken a few of them. I think I have one laying around somewhere. I just don't know where I have it right now. So I'm going to pretend that this is the last one, because I don't know where the other one is. So there we go. I think I kind of figured out the trick. So just basically just pressing this down, it kind of separates the glue from the casing. You don't want to cut it. You just want to break the glue from the casing. To normally change these lights, you just stick a screwdriver down here and twist these out. Let's see if I can get it out. So you just twist these out, and the lights pop out, and you replace the light bulb. Now, 2 problems with these LEDs is, 1, they don't fit through the hole. That's the first problem. Second problem is the LEDs I have, the wires are not long enough. Because the wires would have to go all the way through this tube, back out, wrapped around in here. It makes contact right there, so the wire has to go all the way through the tube and wrap around. So let's take this thing apart. So what you gotta do is take this panel off, and there's 4 screws. So let's take these off real fast. So there's 4 screws and there's 4 tabs. So you just gotta push the tabs in. Preferably not like I just did that, because there's delicate circuit board back there. So carefully remove that. Now you gotta be careful with that panel, because you can bend these pins, so you don't want to bend these pins. So you gotta be careful taking them off and putting them back on. So these 4 LEDs I already did. I didn't do these bottom ones for some reason. I'm gonna go ahead and do those now. Get those out. Hopefully this works. I'll kind of pull this up to show you what I did. I don't know if you can tell. See, it's got the LED sticking through right there. Basically what you gotta do is you gotta feed the LED in from the front of the panel and wire it into the casing on the back side. Alright, so you gotta cut this down. Basically, you don't cut past that tab there. That's what locks it in, so cut it slightly above that. And you want to be careful to hold on to this piece, because if you cut it without holding it, it will go flying off and you might lose it. I lost one for about an hour. So this is how it will work. So it'll stick through there and these wires will wrap around, but you can't do it until you put it on the panel. So you want to feed the LED in from the back, feed the wires to the holes of the tube, and you just fold them down and over. It can be a little tricky, but it's possible. It's really hard to see on camera too. But I'll demonstrate on one that's not on the panel. Okay. So that's on. So the wires are a little thicker, so it's a little harder to get it to turn onto there. So you just gotta be careful, push down a little bit of pressure and turn it. Alright, so another issue is the LEDs don't quite fit through this hole either. They fit through this hole alright for the bigger lights, but through this hole they don't quite fit, just barely. So you want to get all the lights in before you push them down. I'm actually going to trim the sides of these boards off. I don't know if it's going to harm the LED or not, so we'll test that out. So I'm just kind of snipping off a little bit of the sides of each of the circuit boards. There's no wires running through it, so I don't think it's going to harm it, but we'll find out. Maybe someone with more electrical experience can point out if I'm doing this wrong. Constructive feedback is always welcome. Hopefully you can tell. The wires are sticking out, then you've got to fold them over the casing. And I apologize, my big hands are in the way. Well, they're not very big, but big enough to block what I'm doing, so I apologize. I think okay, so I'm finding it nice to use a screwdriver to kind of push it into its slot, then folding it over into its other slot. So it kind of looks like that. Technically it's supposed to wrap up and over again, but there's not enough wire to do that. As long as you have the wire right there, you'll be fine, because that's where it makes contact with the board. So like I mentioned before, the wires are bigger than the original wires, so it's a little harder to get these casings back on. So you kind of be careful, put some pressure on it, and turn it. So that one went easy. I think after the first time it makes it a little easier. But now all the LEDs are in. Hopefully when I take it back out there, it will work, because you can have the polarities reversed and it will not work. So if you put it all together and it doesn't work, all you gotta do is reach in, undo the wire, and turn it around. Just reverse it. So carefully put the panel back in its place. And remember that these pins can get bent, so you gotta make sure they go through the holes correctly. Alright. Make sure it snaps down. Alright, snap. Put the screws back in. Okay, so to test it out, you'll just need to plug that wire back in. This is the main plug for the HVAC. You can tell right back there. You want to plug that in, then you kick on your lights, see if they're working. 1 out of 3 is working for me. So this one right here and that one right there is not working, but that one's working. It's looking pretty good. So you gotta pull it back off and switch them around. As I suspected, it's very hard to get down in there and get it turned, but what I figured out is you unlock it and you stick a magnet down in there and it'll lift it up, then you just turn it 180 degrees. Well, they're all working. Got that one, and that one. Alright, so they're all done. Alright, so I got all the wires done, all the LEDs are done, they're all working. I'm gonna button all this back up and I'm gonna come back out at night and show you what it looks like at night. Other than that, hopefully this video helps you out in understanding how to do the modification to get the same LEDs that works in your dash to work into your HVAC system.
I'm running out of time, every day goes by so fast, and every moment counts, baby, I don't wanna miss a thing. We can sleep under the stars, we can sleep under the stars, or hang out in hotel bars, driving somewhere in your car. We can sleep under the stars, we can sleep under the stars.